Winter golf can often be cold and unforgiving, but it's also one of the best times to be out there playing. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 simple tips to keep your winter golf game smoking hot. So wintertime golf tip number 1 comes down to the driver. A lot of you guys out there have adjustable loft drivers, and that actually works to your benefit during the wintertime. So normally you would have your driver down, let's say on average is around a 9-degree loft. But in the wintertime, given the fact that the ground is actually cold, wet, and muddy, your run out is not going to be the same as it would during the summertime. So what you need to do is go ahead and adjust the loft on your driver and bump it up a half a degree, maybe even a full degree, and you will benefit from that extra hang time further down the fairway as opposed to your buddies who are 10 to 15 yards behind you. Another thing to consider when you're playing winter golf is the ground conditions, which are often wet, muddy, cold, just all around not nice. And one of the benefits to playing in winter golf is the lift, clean, and place rule, which is my number 2 tip for wintertime golf. Most clubs exercise a lift, clean, and place rule where you're going to pick up the ball once it hits the fairway, clean off the mud and gunk that it attracted when it came down and fell and stuck right into the fairway, and be able to place the ball back in the general vicinity of where it came down. Obviously, you don't want to pop it right back in the divot, but it needs to be very, very close to its original position. Now, most clubs practice this rule, but you have to be careful. If you are playing wintertime tournament golf, they may not allow you to do that. So check and make sure that that is within the club rules if you're playing a tournament. Wintertime ground conditions are terrible. And that doesn't just happen out in the fairway and the rough, it also happens on the greens. Now, yes, the greens are elevated and obviously they're well taken care of compared to fairway and rough grass. However, they are slower, softer, and all around more difficult during the wintertime season. So you have to adjust your game. So tip number 3 deals with discarding the wedges around the green. Throw these wedges out because I don't really need them now that it's wintertime. Here's what I mean. If you take a wedge and you try to make a chip and have a run out after that chip, it's going to perform differently in the spring or the summer than it would during the winter time. So during winter play, I like to set my wedges aside and grab my 7 or 8 iron and just use the bump and run. Often, given the fact that the greens are colder and slower moving, the bump and run lands me in a better position for my next shot rather than using a wedge and it not rolling out quite as far as it would, say, in the summer months. Given that wintertime golf is often cold, you have to think how that impacts everything within your golf game. And something you may not be thinking about is your actual swing. With anything that gets cold, it slows down. So your ball speed isn't going to be as quick, your swing speed isn't going to be as quick. You often have bulkier clothing, which means that your range of motion is often more limited than it is in the spring or summer. So with everything being slower, you might want to consider this super easy tip just to switch to a lower compression golf ball. Now, lower compression golf balls are often seen as, well, beginner balls, but during the winter time they make excellent choices because they are harder and they will travel further than, say, a higher compression golf ball because it's harder to compress, bro. So stick with the lower compression golf ball. It's going to go much further in that colder air, and really around the green you're not going to sacrifice that much with spin because the greens are often soggy and wet and soft. Guys, wintertime golf is cold. That's why I'm bundled up with a ton of layers on. And you have to remember that the cold air is denser, therefore the ball won't travel as far. So there is a simple, easy tip that you guys need to remember when you get out on the course and you're playing in wintertime conditions. I'm standing on a par 3 that I play all the time. I know exactly which iron I hit from the blue tees, just like always, but there's one big factor I'm not thinking about, which is the weather. It's cold out, and because it's cold out, I need to club up. So I'm going to put my 5 iron back in my bag and grab my 4 to make sure that I can actually carry the distance during these cold winter temperatures. Guys, if you want more golf tips like this, check out this video right here. They will help you out, I guarantee it. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, keep on swinging.